Using Moneyball to turn Barnsley into the best club at 2, Part 0. I've always been fascinated by the concept of Moneyball. If you don't know what Moneyball means, it has essentially become a blanket term for analytics in football, but that's not strictly accurate. Put plainly, Moneyball is the use of analytics to find undervalued players and forecast how they might be able to perform in your team. There's an excellent book by Michael Lewis, Moneyball, The Art of Winning an Unfair Game. Since, there's been a terrific film released on the topic, starring Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. The book and movie both detail Moneyball's origins and how Billy Beane massively overachieved with the Oakland A's. Billy Beane is looked upon as the founder of Moneyball, and in 2017, he became a shareholder in Barnsley Football Club. When deciding on a team to manage for this challenge, that made Barnsley the only right answer. So, let's look at the rules and guidelines. These rules have been comprised from Moneyball, Alex Stewart's Moneyball Save, and excellent read, if you haven't already, Barnsley's Club Vision. 1. Net wage spend is more important than net transfer spend. 2. Sell your players at the right time, between 28 to 30 years old, goalkeepers aside. 3. Sign players under the age of 23, excluding Rule 8. 4. Sign players from the lower levels of the domestic game. 5. Strikers cost more than they're worth. 6. Sell any player if a club offers more than their value and try to replace them before they are sold. 7. Play high-tempo, pressing football. 8. A maximum of 2 over 23 players per season are allowed to be signed. Rule 1 is straightforward. Wages are more important than transfer fees. If we're signing young players, with the idea that they'll be here for many years to come, they need to be on low wages to save in the long term. If that means more money has to be spent short term on transfer fees to compensate, then that's how it'll be. Rule 2 is harsh, but necessary. We'll be running a tight ship. Even if a player's a fan favorite with 200 plus appearances, our goal is to make a profit. Rule 3 is what it says on the tin, we're signing players to develop. Leading into Rule 4, these players should be primarily from the lower levels of the English game. Rule 5 is a bit more complicated. Obviously, every team needs a striker, unless your name's Guido, but the ones scoring the most goals are often massively overvalued. To avoid this, we need to sign players with high XG stats, a high shots on target ratio, and high running stats. Sometimes strikers might be getting a high percentage of their shots on target, but play for teams that don't create many chances. If we can feed the striker, that suggests he'll be able to score goals. Examples can be Ollie Watkins and Neil Maupay. Both players scored goals in League 2 and League 2, but were able to immediately bring similar numbers to the championship, because they know how to place shots and create chances for themselves. Rule 6 is a painful one. This challenge, while obviously football-focused, is primarily economical. If we receive an offer for any player above their value, we'll have to sell the "no player is bigger than the club." Rule 7 is how we'll determine the signings made. We want players with high running stats to press intensely, across the pitch. When we sign players, we'll want them to have a record of running long distances in games. This can be checked in the Data Hub and Player Stats section of a league. Rule 8 pays respects to Moneyball and the key message, which is to sign undervalued players despite their age. I wanted to keep the predominantly under 23 signings, as that's one of Barnsley's key values, and one of the key principles in replicating Moneyball in football. However, this allows for some leeway and a throwback to the original Moneyball concept. Our squad. We're already well equipped moving forwards. We have the youngest squad in the league, 21 25th players with at least 4-star potential. The highest earner is on just £8,000 P/W. However, that's just looking at things from a Moneyball perspective. Club vision. We've got a difficult season ahead of us. In real life, Barnsley finished rock bottom. We're predicted to finish 20th in game, and the board just want us to avoid a relegation battle this season. There's a lot of work to be done to get this team firing in the short term. You can also see the wage and transfer budget in the bottom right. We haven't got much to work with. Initial tactic. This is the initial tactic. You can see it's just a preset gegenpress in a 4-4-2 shape. It will certainly be adjusted as the season progresses, but it fits with the entertaining, high-press football the board and I want to play. Any suggestions on how to improve the tactic moving forward will be welcomed. Ahead of the first transfer window, I do have to ask for some transfer suggestions also, as there's no stats to look at yet. Left back. FB Da. Right midfielder. W. Su. They have to be under the age of 23, and ideally from League 1 or 2. So, that's part 0 of the Moneyball challenge. I aim to have each installment a season long. For some more information about me, or if you want to give me a message, my Twitter account is linked here, @it's Jamie Lauder. I'm an academy footballer at Darlington FC, and have been heavily involved with the FM community over recent years, having spent 18 months as community manager at FM Base. If you've made it this far, thank you for reading.